Alex O'Connor is on a rampage, demolishing debate opponents left and right.
I don't really want to go there because...
Well, I know why you don't want to go there.
Well, the reason I don't want to go there, the Old Testament is full of horrific massacres.
Yes, and
that is hold on.
Massacres which are ordained.
Massacres which appear to be ordained by Yahweh.
How does he do it? And as a Christian, can you even respond to him? I'm a fan of Alex, and he has such a wide range of guests that he invites on his channel, and that's really why I appreciate his channel. If you can believe it, I've actually met Alex O'Connor. He was speaking at an event in Atlanta that I was attending, and that's when my fiance and I bumped into him in the hotel lobby. I said I was a fan and asked about his favorite guests to have on his channel. He said some of his favorite guests had less to do with their beliefs, but more about how they got along on a personal level. From my brief interaction with Alex, I only have positive things to say about him. He's a highly empathetic individual, which if I had to guess comes from his philosophy of motivism. At that event in Atlanta, Alex O'Connor was debating Craig Biddle on whether or not morality was objective or subjective. And during the Q&A portion, he asked for the time to be extended so that every person in line got a chance to ask a question, even though we were well over time.
So time for a follow-up.
Thank you all.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. We had one more questioner. I'm so sorry we didn't have the time. Unless it's quick, and we do. I don't know if we literally need to run, but I felt so bad.
Oh, go for it. I'm good for it. Yeah.
Here's another example of Alex just being so nice.
It's been an incredible year for you, coming out as a Christian, dealing with the reactions and criticisms as a result of that. My first question is, how are you?
And back at the event in Atlanta, I even got to ask him a question too.
Hi, question for Alex. What evidence would you like to see to be convinced that objective morality does exist?
I would like to be shown. Firstly, I'd need to know what somebody means by morality. So terms like good and bad, I'd need them to be defined. I understand that some things are difficult to define, but we need to at least a sort of family resemblance model of what we mean by good. So, for example, a theist might say that good means to approximate the nature of God, and then the evidence would become proof of God's existence.
The first reason why Alex is so good at what he does is because he is a good debater, which is a potentially pernicious skill to perfect. Being a good debater doesn't mean you're necessarily correct. For example, the highest skilled soldier on the battlefield may well be fighting for the evil army. William Lane Craig is a great example of a great Christian debater. Check out how he deflects this superfluous question in his debate with Sam Harris.
Last night, God appeared to me and he told me that homosexual lovemaking was every bit as beautiful and loving and good as heterosexual. He said, come and let everyone know that. I said, no, God, they won't believe me. Where do we go from here practically with divine revelation? Do I leave my church and follow?
Your feigned sincerity about this, isn't fooling anybody. It's not the topic of tonight's debate. I'm not even going to address a silly question like this.
I didn't mean to offend you. I'm serious.
Sorry, we aren't doing follow-ups with the question. I allowed the one up there because there was a misunderstanding, but the question has come out. It's received an answer.
William Lane Craig has no need to tap into his knowledge to answer this question because he realized the question is off topic, and he's right. This is a clip from the debate in Atlanta that I attended about whether morality was objective or not. Alex and his opponent Craig Biddle are both atheists, but Alex thinks morality is subjective, and Craig Biddle thinks that morality is objective. Watch how Alex ingeniously uses his debating skills to chop block Craig Biddle's objection to thought experiments.
You are taking fanciful, thought experiments that do not happen, and as far as we know, cannot happen. Mm-hmm. So I want to give you a hypothetical.
Sure.
Suppose we lived in this world, mm-hmm. and when there are a bunch of young people here from all over the world. And what they need to know is, how am I supposed to act in this life? They're not right. Jonesing for, how am I supposed to act in those made-up worlds?
Yeah, I mean,
the made-up stuff is fun. Harry Potter is fun, but it's not the thing we need to focus on.
Those made-up worlds are, of course, supposed to be used as a tool to investigate the definition of terms.
But
it's sort of like imagining if you were to say that your shirt was part of your body, an intrinsic part of your body. And I said, well, can you imagine a situation in which you didn't have your shirt on? And you say yes. even though that world doesn't exist, it helps us to make a point in the real world that your shirt is not identical with the body.
Fair enough.
It was at this moment during the debate when I looked around at the people sitting next to me, and we kind of non-verbally agreed that Alex was winning this debate. And he didn't stop winning for the rest of the debate. An easy way to gain the upper hand in a debate is actually to talk very little. In sales, you're taught that the more you invite your customer to loquaciousness, the more control you have of the conversation. Richard Dawkins, who I don't agree with because I'm a Christian, he flawlessly does this in his debate with Jordan Peterson.
I see no truth value in the claims of Christianity, the virgin birth, the resurrection, the miracles. Do you believe in any of those? Do you believe Jesus was born a virgin?
As I said before, there are elements of the text that I don't feel qualified to comment on. My experience has been that the more, I know from a metaphorical perspective and from a mythic perspective what the story of the virgin birth means.
Dawkins just asks Jordan Peterson a simple yes or no question, like, was Jesus born of a virgin? And then Jordan Peterson rambles for 14 minutes about who knows what. Alex O'Connor does the exact same thing at this debate. He asks Craig Biddle a question, and then Craig seemingly runs around in circles trying to explain himself. I don't say this to disrespect Biddle, I've met him a few times, he's very smart and very nice. As a Christian, though, I disagree with both of them, because I believe morality is objective and it comes from God. I say this only to note that Alex was the better debater, and this debate demonstrates that. The second reason O'Connor is so formidable is that he is just smart. He's earned a degree in theology from the University of Oxford, if I understand correctly, and he uses that degree. I've never seen a Christian get so obliterated as when O'Connor debated Dinesh D'Souza.
I'll tell you why. Because there is a movement within the Bible itself that you are completely missing.
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven, but whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said that in the Sermon on the Mount, referring to his fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy and law.
Referring to his fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy.
Old Testament law. And what I'm referring to here is an Old Testament law, which you're now trying to distance yourself from and say that it's sort of different to the New Testament.
I'm saying that
that's not what Jesus thought.
I'm saying you're missing the developmental track of the Bible that is obvious to any intelligent reader.
Alex comes to this debate with what looks like pages upon pages of biblical quotes to just throw at Dinesh. And O'Connor uses his superior debating skills, paired with his arguably better knowledge, to make Dinesh look like an idiot.
My name is Jeff.
So how does the Christian respond to someone like Alex? With love, obviously, and y'all should just be friends before you worry about debating any of this stuff. But I would suggest that you understand that just because someone is smarter than you doesn't mean that they are right. There was a time when the smartest people alive believed that the sun orbited the earth.
You're fat!
This isn't because they were stupid, but just because they only had the evidence in front of them. And that's part of the reason why I'm content with admitting that Alex is a better debater and a smarter person than me specifically. When I hear him make a compelling point, I research it by looking into other sources and learning other opinions, instead of just believing him because he's winning the debate. Observe the Dinesh D'Souza debate, for example. The topic chosen was, is the Bible true? And that is just much too wide of a topic range. I just made a video talking about how hard it was to simply read the Bible. Here's what Catholic apologist Trent Horn had to say about this debate.
Consider the question, is the Bible true? That's a huge, important topic, but it spans thousands of years of salvation history across a wide variety of literary genres. There's way too many issues that would come up, and the topic would become unwieldy in a public debate. That's why I criticized Dinesh D'Souza in a recent episode for debating that topic with atheist Alex O'Connor.
Also observe in this clip from earlier that O'Connor interrupts Dinesh about every 6 seconds.
Through the light of the news. So
but
I'm not.
God
If you want to, the Book of Kings, the Amalekites.
Sure, we can bring him out.
What he considers.
Later,
I don't really want to go there because.
Well, I know why you don't want to go there.
Old Testament is full of horrific massacres.
Yes, and
that is. Hold on.
Massacres which are ordained.
Massacres which are
Why are you saying Yahweh instead of God?
I'm simply trying to say that any reader.
So why is that the first time you've used the?
If you think you're having as much fun as Dinesh D'Souza is right now, consider becoming a member. You get 2 members exclusive videos videos.
That ain't much, but
it would help me to someday quit my job and make videos. Which isn't to say that I think Dinesh had any good response up his sleeve, but that Alex was using a fallacious way of arguing by barraging Dinesh with too many objections that he could reasonably answer.
Oh man, you ever gonna run out of muffins? No, because I work at the muffin factory.
I learned that this is called a Gish Gallop. And here's Trent Horn again explaining what a Gish Gallop is.
But broad topics leave you at risk of being Gish Galloped. The term comes from Dwayne Gish, a young Earth creationist who was very good at winning debates against those who defended evolution. He would throw out a bunch of things evolution allegedly couldn't explain, and his opponents simply wouldn't be able to answer all of Gish's objections in his allotted time. Gish would then say he won the debate because his opponent didn't refute all of his arguments. This strategy is now called the Gish Gallop.
So being aware of the debate tricks that O'Connor uses and that anyone uses, Christian or atheist, will help you realize that, in this case, Alex isn't specifically necessarily winning the debate by as much as you thought. Alex also quotes Jesus when he said he came to fulfill the law, not to abolish it. Thus, he argues that Jesus wants us to uphold all of the law from the Old Testament. Someone with a degree in theology, however, I think should know better than to make an argument like this. Dinesh's answer is weird, and he starts talking about how the Bible progresses as a story, and he's just saying, oh, but we have the New Testament. It makes no sense. But there are 3 types of law in the Bible: ceremonial, civil, and moral. The purpose of the ceremonial law was for God's people to be set apart from the secular world. And Paul teaches that baptism is the new circumcision. So it's the new way of showing everyone that you're one of God's people. Understanding the types of law and Jesus' fulfillment of the law certainly isn't part of the kids' Sunday school lesson. But I heard better arguments from Alex. And considering he has a theology degree, I would have expected slightly better. Nothing but absolute love for Alex. I would totally love to someday have a conversation with him. I feel like we could totally be friends. Be sure to comment your thoughts on all this, and bye!